So the first and the main underlying issue, the very core root issue, is shame. Codependency is two shame-based people trying to have a relationship and trying to solve their shame. So shame is a core belief that comes out of complex trauma. So when a child is neglected or abused or abandoned, they personalize that and they go, I must be neglected because I'm not good enough. It's my fault. And they develop a belief that says, I must not be lovable. I must not be valuable. The only thing that will give me value is not who I am, but what I do. And so if I'm going to get other people to like me, I got to do stuff for them because that will give me value. Then they will appreciate me.
And so once their trauma begins to heal, all of a sudden they're sleeping better. They're not as sensitive to light or to noise. They have less physical pain. Their headaches improve. They're not clenching their jaw all the time. And then they begin to notice that they start getting triggered, but the triggers are becoming not as intense as they used to be. They're not emotionally dysregulating the same way that they used to be. There's something now that they're managing much better. And so that's an important thing to realize, is that when people are healing from this trauma, which is an emotional, psychological event, it does have physical symptoms, and you'll start to see those physical symptoms improving.
There's a part of your brain called the mid-frontal cortex, right in the center of the front of your brain, and its job is what they call flexible response. So let's say that tomorrow you have to get 4 different jobs done. What that part of your brain, the flexible response center, will do is it will play with a whole bunch of different options about how you're going to accomplish those 4 things, okay? Do you know what happens with complex trauma? The brain says, we don't got time to weigh out options. Pick one and go with it. So if you ever dealt with somebody whose trauma gets triggered, they just go in one direction. You can't reason with them. You can't help them think stuff through because their brain goes to tunnel vision, tunnel response, one response only. And that is the result of complex trauma.
When they remember the trauma, they're able to allow the feelings to come and not immediately want to stuff them down or run away from them or medicate them or dissociate from them, because now they can tolerate the feelings. They're still not super comfortable. They still don't like them a whole lot, but they're able to bear with them. And so memories now aren't just this scary thing I have to avoid because it brings up too much feelings. It's I can go to these memories and tolerate the feelings.
As you live in complex trauma, your world that is presented to you by mom and dad and other authority figures is full of distortions and lies. They make you feel that you have no value, that you are not lovable. They make you feel that you're selfish for having needs, and it's your fault that they're unhappy. And you believe that. And so now, instead of seeing life accurately, you have a limitation of seeing life in a distorted way and believing a whole bunch of lies. And then one of the worst parts of that distortion is your brain is conditioned to jump to the worst case scenario. So something doesn't happen right now, and you were expecting it to happen right now, and your brain goes, why did it not happen right now? And you go, well, and you go to the worst case scenario. And so another limitation in accurate thinking. You realize that when a kid is in survival mode, they're not thinking about what occupation would I like when I grow up. They're just thinking, what am I going to do to stay safe? They're not saying, I should take up a couple new hobbies. I should maybe try out a couple things. No, they're just trying to survive. And so their creativity isn't allowed to be explored or developed, so they're limited to just surviving. And then safety is only found in what I'm familiar with, in my known world. So now I have a limitation that I never want to step out of my comfort zone. I never want to step into change or the unknown because I might get hurt. So now what you're basically saying, I'm going to limit myself to never change.